Good morning, everybody. This is Jared Moore with mylifefitness.net. I've been posting a couple videos here, just discussing some diet tips, some generic things, just about in my day-to-day life that I've kind of picked up over time. However, most of you that don't know me, my original career field was medical. I graduated from Christopher Newport University, which brought me down to the Newport News, Virginia Beach area. Originally from Tennessee, grew up extremely obese, overweight. And if you look at my bio on the website, mylifefitness.net, you can learn a little bit more about, my journey as far as fitness is concerned. That being said, being a firefighter paramedic, I've also attended some nursing school as well. The body became just so exciting to me. Understanding the pathophysiology of different illness processes, body digestion, also pharmacology when it came to different medications, things of that nature. What I'm going to discuss with you today, the segment I like to call insulin, diabetes, and bodybuilding. Basically, we're going to review what insulin is, the different types of diabetes, also some random statistics that might kind of scare you and let you see where the problem lies. And then also how to get some crazy gains in the gym by manipulating your insulin levels in a natural way. There are some more darker sides, which we'll kind of review as well, as far as what the pros do. However, us being into the natural fitness realm and us not being, these mutants per se, there is ways that we can kind of use their concepts to better our bodies as well. That being said, we'll start off with round one again. If you want to get to the crazy gain section, it's going to be more towards the end. So go ahead and skip through if you're interested in that. If you want to learn a little something, for me, I'm big into science, and also I can either give you fish or teach you how to fish. So all my clients throughout their diets and throughout their training, I try to give them little tidbits, not to overwhelm them. This video is going to cover a lot. I'm going to go back into certain concepts of it throughout more videos, but this is actually the reason why I got so addicted into lifting, so addicted to changing my physique, were these concepts that I developed through my career as a firefighter medic. So that being said, diabetes. So there's two different types of diabetes. There's the diabetes type 1. These are individuals, it's a hereditary disease. Basically, they're born with it. Basically, their body does not regulate their insulin like a normal person's does. Insulin is created inside the pancreas. And a normal blood sugar for a person is around 70 to 120. And basically what that means is that is what the body needs to stay between in order to regulate its natural processes, keep the brain functioning, keep the muscles functioning, etc. and so forth. When those numbers go below those standards, then there can become issues. There can become this is where people are beginning to become hypoglycemic or low blood sugar, where they will pass out or feel dizzy, lightheaded, sweating. Also, if they go above those numbers, the responses are very similar. Basically, it messes with their mental functions, things of that nature. But diabetes type 1, these are people with insulin pumps. These are the people who are constantly injecting insulin because their body doesn't naturally produce it. They're usually very skinny. If done properly, they can get, actually, again, as we'll discuss later, some kind of crazy muscle gains, and they actually kind of have a key factor that a lot of our, natural fitness people don't have that they can utilize. I actually had a friend that was a powerlifter. I was on an insulin pump, and I was like, hey, man, do you understand the benefits you have having that pump that no one else has? And so he started manipulating his insulin a little bit. It can be dangerous, but he did it slowly, increasing his food intake and stuff before the gym. Now he can lift insane amounts of weight. It is very, very impressive. So diabetes type 2, these are those individuals that acquire the disease, basically through malnutrition, eating all kinds of crazy sugary foods, their body continues to produce insulin through the pancreas when the number raises above that 120 in order to bring the blood sugar down to normal. And by doing this so consistently, their body will actually just be flooded with insulin all the time, and it will not be able to regulate itself. When that happens, a person, again, is diagnosed with what's called diabetes type 2, and they actually will have to take pills or inject insulin themselves in order to regulate their blood sugar. These people are usually obese, or again, they don't necessarily have to be obese, but they're usually not in the greatest of shape or the greatest of health in general. Diabetes can lead to high blood pressure, can lead to one of the worst things is renal failure. And this is more prominent in African Americans. However, it can happen across the board as far as any race, any culture, et cetera, and so forth. But this is why fitness is so important. Those type of illnesses can lead to strokes, can lead to all kinds of things. And this is why I was actually on an ambulance treating a diabetic patient. This is very, when I was new in my career, and I got everything flowing through with what the book says, what I'm looking at. And so I'm treating them, and it was a hypoglycemic episode. Their blood sugar has dropped. They've actually become unconscious, and I'm working on getting an IV and pushing what's called D50 or pure dextrose sugar, which the body will convert into glucose, and then raise that blood sugar and bring them out of this, coma-like state. Usually they come out, they're very confused. But beside the point, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it. I'm going through the process of what this sugar is doing in the body, and I'm going, could you not manipulate then an average person's sugar level to increase muscle size, to increase endurance, to increase energy levels, if done at the proper timing, and not put on fat? It so intrigued me that I started going to the gym like crazy, and I started looking at this. I actually bought big 20-pound tubs of dextrose, which I was shoving in my protein shakes. In about 2 months, I put on 65 pounds. Was it all good? No. I hadn't really mastered the concept at that time, but some of it was, I put on a significant amount of size. And then I would kind of work with different types of, we can call them fad diets, but intermittent fasting, ketos, Atkins. I worked with all different kinds of diets, kind of using my body as a test subject to go up and down, up and down, up and down, and down. Did this for a couple of years, and that's what kind of made people start looking towards me for this knowledge, because I don't believe in listening to Joe Schmo tell me. I'm going to do it myself and let you know what that is. I kind of brought a prop today. One of my friends is a diabetic. This is called an insulin quickie pen. Basically, you put a needle on the end of this, and then you would dial up how many units of insulin your body would actually need, and then you would inject it in the subcutaneous layer or fat layer anywhere in the body. Usually they go into the stomach, and this would, again, put in synthetic insulin into the body and bring down their blood sugar levels. Or with type 1s, would again allow their body to naturally regulate and break down these sugars. Dark side of things, as I had mentioned, I would say something about that. Bodybuilders, the pro guys that are these massive mutants, will actually do this post-workout to increase their muscle volume significantly and shuttle the nutrients, aka the carbs and the protein, into the muscle cells directly without having to, again, manipulate the natural levels by taking a bunch of dextrose, for example. All right, so that being said, how does that work? So insulin, when you're talking at intercellular level, the cells, muscle, fat cells, all your cells in your body will have different types of pumps, which we'll go into further. I'll put some links down so you can read those too. But basically, they open and close for nutrients. If they're feeling deprived, they'll open. If they're full, they'll close. And they just do this regularly throughout the day. They don't have any generic reason for it other than to function the body. Your body wants to maintain what's called homeostasis. And this is where we can talk about water pH and stuff like that. I'll get into that in other videos. That being said, it wants to regulate those things. But the question is how do we go, say, post-workout when we break down our muscle energy or glycogen? That's another thing I'd love you guys to research. There's actually stored sugar called glycogen in the muscle, and that's what we break down during our workouts. That's why they say, the rule of thumb is 45-minute workouts only. The reason for that is because the glycogen begins to be broken down at that point, and then now there's not any energy anywhere else, and you actually will begin to break the muscle down after that, which is counterintuitive to what you're trying to do in general. That being said, when the glycogen is broken down, your body is at a feasting state. The cells are beginning to open, wanting more nutrients. However, again, they still are opening and closing as needed. So how do we keep them open? This is where insulin comes into a factor. Every food has what's called a glycemic index and a glycemic load. I'll also put a list of foods, a link for a list of foods, so you guys can be interested in what you've been eating in their glycemic index, glycemic loads. Glycemic index is how fast it raises your blood sugar. Again, when it becomes over that 120 mark, some people are a little different, but most average individuals, over that 120 mark, your pancreas will begin to produce insulin. In the presence of insulin, your body removes all catabolic processes and turns them anabolic. Catabolic meaning to break down, or, for example, with fat loss, breaking down fat, or anabolic meaning growing muscle. And so, and just some generic things, if you look at the typical American diet, and this is what I tell most people, if it says it's to do it on TV, or if it says, or if all your friends are doing it, chances are it's probably not the most healthy thing. They have those commercials, it's like Kashi cereal, as much protein as an egg. Well, it's not an egg. It's still cereal, full of carbs, full of sugar, raises the blood sugar when eaten, and then pancreas produces insulin. And if you're trying to lose weight, you can forget about it. And so that being said, glycemic index would be, again, how fast it raises blood sugar. Glycemic load is how long that substance will stay in the system raising that blood sugar. This is where the concept of simple carbohydrates versus complex carbohydrates comes in. Also, a simple trick, how to make a simple carbohydrate more complex. Slow down the digestion, bring down the glycemic load. By doing that, you can do that by increasing the fiber in the meal, more greens, or increasing the fat in the meal. Fat and fiber slow digestion down. And again, we want to go healthier fats, things like that. Again, it's always good to hire a coach initially. This is, again, what I do to teach people these lessons about what foods are good foods, what foods are bad foods, what foods are, can you manipulate these things with, and which ones you can't. Again, I'll provide a list so you can get a general idea, but over time and practice, you can learn your body, and a lot of these rules of thumb actually do apply to everyone. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm so different. Again, I'm a science guy, anatomy guy. You're not so different. I spent most of my youth at 300 pounds. I was obese. It was horrible. I've gotten down to 180. I've gone back up to 300. A total different look. I mean, I was 300 last year. 299.5 is what I ended up getting to. The science, it's difficult to beat. You're not different. It's just that you may be doing something you're not aware of. So anyway, it all comes down to insulin. Weight loss, weight gain. If you can prevent insulin response, we will remain more catabolic. We can lose more weight. If we promote insulin response, we can become more anabolic. We can gain weight. When insulin is triggered inside the pancreas, the brain goes, I want to grow. So how do we get crazy gains in the gym? All right, well, here's the fun fact. And a lot of people mess this up. And they're shoving down these mass gainer shakes and all these other things going, oh, I'm trying to put on mass. Yes, there's a certain concept of calories in versus calories out. If you're eating more, you definitely have to have a surplus of carbs, or a surplus of calories over a calorie deficit. Can't grow muscle in a deficit. But we'll go into that in later videos. The simple concept is this, and I would love for everyone to try it. Girls, guys, all these things. After you're done training, good 45-minute strength training. Now, I'm not talking about lightweight CrossFit. I'm not talking about sprints. I'm not talking about cardio Ironman training, zone 4 training. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about weightlifting, powerlifting. I'm talking about lifting weight, breaking down the muscle. Usually I like breaking down each muscle, but you can do, combination exercises, pull-ups, bench press, things like that. But weight training. After about 45 minutes of weight training, your glycogen is broken down. Your body's starving. What you can do post-workout is you take in a simple, high glycemic index sugar with protein. The rule of thumb, this is your protein shake, the rule of thumb is 1.5 grams of sugar or carbs for every 1 gram of protein. Now, again, I'm not telling you to go shovel in 60 grams of protein. Most people can't take that in. There's a number based on your weight of how much protein you actually take in per sitting. To give a general idea, a male 200 pounds, 1.5 scoops, 35 grams. Female, 120 pounds, 1 scoop, 24 grams. Nothing crazy. And again, multiply that by 1.5, it's the number of carbs. Now, there is different types of carbs. You don't really want to use a lot of fructose. It stores in the liver, swells the liver. You'll feel bloated. You'll hate it. But I'm talking about Skittles, Swedish Fish, gummy bears, Rice Krispie cereal. You can shake up Rice Krispie cereal in a shaker cup with chocolate protein. It's phenomenal. You can do gummy bear. I mean, like I said, but you want to, now this is a concept. When insulin is promoted, it's shuttling protein and carbohydrates in the muscle. Well, what about fat, you might ask? Fat will be stored as fat at this point. When insulin is promoted, fat is stored in fat. It does not get shuttled into the intermuscular cell. So, those people who are doing their protein shakes with all these high carbs or their mass gainers, and then they're scooping in a scoop of peanut butter, a scoop of coconut oil, a scoop of Lord knows what, full of fats, eating a handful of nuts, whatever it is, or just a mass gainer shake that's got 60 grams of fat in it, don't be surprised when you put on a bunch of fat with your muscle, because it just sits in there. So, final note, if you look at America as a whole, we have an over 90% obesity rating. Now, again, the obesity rating is based on almost an Asian, type culture. So a lot of us are obese. I mean, just because of how the scale is made. But you can look around and notice most people are out of shape, and it's not getting any better. Medical conditions are on the rise. I owned a home healthcare agency and an ambulance transport company for 3 years. I just left to do this full time because I feel like I can help more people this way. But I promise you, the business was flourishing. Renal disease is at an all-time high, particularly in the Hampton Roads area, which is crazy. You'll get a density map, we're like black. That's why I started my business here. It's not any better. So what I actually got into this for is to help diabetes. Help people, help diabetics, help type 2s, because these are not people that can't be saved. You can't come off your medications. Like, you can come off all of it. I've helped tons of diabetics. That's when I first got into it. High blood pressure. You fix the diet, fix your fitness level, your health level, and all that will regulate. You'll come off all of it. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. We are always here to help. MyLifeFitness.net. You can get me personally. You can get the other coaches. They are fantastic as well. We all have a different take on things, but we're all are very close-knit, great partners. But me, I'm a science guy. You see a lot of my training, it's all anatomy-based. A lot of my diets are all science-based. And it's going to take a lot to convince me otherwise. But just remember, if you look at the general American diet, that was my concept, we're constantly eating cereals in the morning, fruits, lunches, breads, things like that. These, as you'll see when I show you this list, are all high glycemic index, high glycemic load foods. No wonder everyone's getting huge. No wonder no one's in shape except for those people that go to the gym every day. You don't have to go to the gym every day. It's all diet. 80% diet, 20% training. You see it all over the place. There's a million means of it. It's the truth. So I know this was a lot. I hope you guys were informed. Any questions you have, I'm going to do videos on creatine. I'm going to do videos on, endomorphs, mesomorphs, ectomorphs, hard gainers, all these things, supplement reviews. We're going to be getting into all this stuff. But if you have anything specifically you want me to talk about, or you're just interested about, or if you want to hire us, our prices are very good. And we are here to help. We want to help people. We want to change America because it's going on a trend I don't want to see. And the health provider in me, it kills me every day. I just want to see more people healthy, more people love themselves as much on the outside as they do on the inside. Again, mylifefitness.net. Check us out. Follow us. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow me. Ask me questions. I'm here for you. And I hope you guys really like these videos. And just thank you so much for watching.